I'll be changing the idle air control valve on the D16Y8 here. Already had this thing off, cleaned it up and everything, and still no luck, so I went on the Amazon. About 20 something bucks. Got a brand new one. Try it out. What I do, I take the whole throttle body off. It's just easier to get to it, in my opinion. Take the whole throttle body off and then just unbolt it from the throttle body off of the car. To do that, the first step is your intake tube here. Take it off and out of the way. So what I do is I'll unplug the map sensor and everything here, all this out of the way. I'll get my whole wiring harness out of the way. Up here, focus. A couple clamps here. Pull that out of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and clamp here. Okay, that'll work too. Don't lose your clamps. I didn't take my coolant lines loose there. Just leave them attached. Put the whole mess down there out of the way. I just took this off and put it back together. Thought I was recording, but it wasn't. Off the filter box here, pop it loose. Get a little set screwdriver. Get your clamp off your throttle body. And pull it off out of the way. Now, the throttle body position sensor, I'm going to unplug it. And here's your idle air control valve. I'm going to unplug it. The throttle cable. I'll show you this. Flip it open. I'll do it with one hand. Open. You get your cable and run it up to the top. Let it close back. And just pull it out. You don't have to mess with that deal. Now, on the throttle body, you got two bolts, 14mm bolts. You got one here, one down here diagonal, two nuts, one here, one down here diagonal, and take them out. So we'll do all this in one cut. I need something to prop on. Let's see here. I think that's a nice view. Will you stay there? Stay there for me. I'm gonna be honest with you, already got the bottom tube off. So break them loose with your ratchet and use the extension in your socket as a nut driver and pull them on out. Your bolts are the same size, so they're interchangeable. You don't have to keep up with which one goes where. Two nuts, two bolts, Now probably better than 50% of the time. Probably better than 50% of the time. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, 60% maybe. Your throttle body gasket will come off in one piece and not be damaged. But when you're pulling it off, be mindful of these studs. They will grab it and pull it. Be careful taking them off. And there we go. Now, the only thing right now holding the throttle body on is the two coolant lines coming out of the bottom of the idle air control valve. Here and here. Now if you take them loose, they will leak coolant. They will leak coolant. To minimize this, what I do, I'll get that clamp, run it down the hose. I get these pliers. Come down here below the nipple. I will pinch that hose with these pliers as I pull that hose off, and I'll keep it pinched the whole time so the coolant can't come out. Throttle body bolts. Run it down in that tube. Pull that clamp back up on it. Now you will lose some coolant. You will lose some coolant. Just a little bit. Same thing with the other one. Run the clamp down. Or so I can get it right above that clamp. Pinch it off with a little twist. Get my other throttle body bolt down in there. Pull that clamp back up on it. Now, this is what we're after. This is gizmo here on the bottom of the throttle body. It's held on with two 8mm bolts. What I do is I get an 8mm wrench, break them loose, and they're also slotted for a Phillips screwdriver. And I just use a Phillips screwdriver to go ahead and get them out once they're broken loose. So, let's get another shot here. Let's see. Well, $8mm wrench. Break them loose. Come on. Now most of the time you can take these things off and clean them out real good. Some carbon choke cleaner, and they'll work just fine. Not in my case for some reason. Loose. finger. Let me get me another screwdriver. It popped up on mine. It's a lot. That's better. Just run that with the screwdriver. Careful not to lose them. They're kind of small. And there we are. That's it. Like I said, usually you can clean this thing. There's kind of like a little butterfly deal in here. This motor spins around and controls the airflow through it. Sometimes it gets gunked up. You can clean it out and it'll work fine, but not in my case. So you can see how clean it is. Still giving me trouble. We're going to see if this new one will fix my problem. Really, it's the only thing it could be. I think the code it was giving me was a P505, which is the whatever it was auto air control code. I got a brand new gasket here, so I'll do my little pick here, pull that gasket out. This gasket only go in one way. It's got one of these corners on the coolant. It's kind of notched around right here, so it only goes in one way. Each new gasket laid in here. Seated in good. That looks good. Now make sure you put your this you could flip around the wrong way if you really wanted to, I suppose, but say your plug in here will face the throttle position sensor. Try to get you in frame. That'll work. Get my screwdriver. That's not going to work. There we go. Got me 2 bolts in, set them down roughly in place, turn down. The other 2. Nearly dropped it. Turn it down. Run it down. your wrench and just tighten them up just a little bit. Now I'm going to put my coolant lines back on. If you're reusing your gasket, be careful with it. So, mine is stuck pretty good to the back of the throttle body there, so that's where it lives. That's where it's going to stay. And your local auto parts store ought to have one of them. You might want to consider getting one just in case you need it, and if you end up not needing it, you can take it back. So the furthest away coolant line here, start with it, one that goes down to the back of the head. Going to clamp back down, pinch it off, pull your bolt out. Push it back up onto the idler control valve. Clamp back up. Come on. Okay. Same thing with the other one. Clamp down. Squeeze it. Bolt out. Tight on space. Put her back where she lives. Come on, all the way up. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and put my throttle body back in place before I run that clamp up with these studs to hold it for me. Okay, I'm going to go down here and run that clamp back up. Come on. If you don't have any crooked pliers like these, highly recommended. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is come back here. Plug my auto air control back up. Throttle position sensor, plug it back up. And put my nuts and bolts back into my throttle body, tighten it back up. And drop my tools. I've got a magnet here to pick that back up with. Where'd you go? could have swore you fell down in that transmission mount. I see. The good thing about a telescopic magnet is that it sticks to everything except what you want it to stick to. Okay. Again, using the socket and the extension, that's like a nut driver. Drive everything down. 2 nuts, 2 bolts. Ratchet, tighten down, if you want to know the torque specs, you can probably Google it. Let us know about it in the comments. Okay, throttle cable, snap it back in, flip it around the bottom, open your throttle up, cable down in place, and that's that. Now, let's see, yeah. Better angle. Still need a better angle. Nice. 25 minutes. Okay. Intake tube back in place. Onto the throttle body. Onto the filter box. Just like that. Tighten up my clamp. It's good. Where is my other clamp? I think they're up under my clamp. You got my clamp? Okay. I'm gonna search for the clamp. I lost a clamp. Did I really lose a clamp? Did I really lose a clamp? Or did I set it somewhere? It's right there. You still got a shot. What are you focused on? Over here. Tubage is back in place. Fits. There we go. Clamp. clamp. Put this one back in. For some reason this whole do came out. That's all right. If he comes out, he'll go back in. And he did. Clamp back on. Now, map sensor. Let's do this. That sensor. Wire loom back in place. And we are back together. That's how I do it.